Deep thinking, a different way to see yourself. Are you the same person online? Irving Goffman once wrote, "We are all just actors trying to control and manage our public image." Today we spend more time fitting in than simply being. At work, with friends, even when we're alone, we catch ourselves performing. Even on your days off, there's pressure to be productive, interesting, or at least presentable. What's more, smiling when we're tired and nodding when we disagree. And the reasons might be simpler than we think. First, we've built habits around being watched by followers, coworkers, even strangers. Second, we've learned to show our best selves all the time, edited, filtered, always ready. But after a while, that version starts to feel fake, even to us. And third, when we perform long enough, we lose track of who we were before the performance started. We don't mean to fake it. But when approval becomes currency, performance becomes survival. So now, what if you asked yourself, what parts of you only show up when no one's watching? Have you ever smiled when you were annoyed just to fit in?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
Are you really being yourself? Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But what does that really mean? Is it the version of you others find acceptable? Is it the self you have shaped and protected through effort? Or is it the one that emerges quietly when no one else is watching? Perhaps becoming your true self is a continuous question that quietly waits for your attention each day. And maybe the real concern is that identity has become another product we are asked to package. First, we are told to define who we are in clear and simple terms. Second, we are encouraged to stay consistent, even if that means hiding our doubts. And third, when authenticity becomes just another performance, something essential may be lost. If being yourself becomes a strategy, it may no longer feel like yourself at all. What feels most real is often what keeps changing. So now, what if you asked yourself, is your identity a truth you live or a habit you follow? What version of you feels most true when no one is watching?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
Humanity is not born, it's taught. Hannah Arendt once observed, "Education is the point at which we decide whether we love the world, enough to assume responsibility for it." We often speak of freedom and rights, but rarely ask what it means to be human. If empathy and dignity were instinctive, would cruelty and selfishness spread so easily? Perhaps humanity is not a given. It is a value we must choose to learn and continue to teach. And maybe this is what we've forgotten, that being human isn't automatic. First, we act as if kindness comes naturally, without teaching or effort. Second, we design education to build success, but not always character. And third, we demand rights, yet hesitate to speak of responsibilities. Rights can be claimed unconditionally, but responsibilities must be practiced. A society that trains competition, but not compassion, produces performers, not citizens. If we don't nurture humanity, we shouldn't be surprised when it disappears. So now, what if you asked yourself, who taught you what it means to be human? And if humanity can be lost, what are you doing to protect it?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
Is love what you think? Fromm once wrote, Love is an art, just as living is an art. We often say, "I love you," thinking the words alone prove we understand love. But saying love is not the same as knowing how to give it. Love is proven in what remains after feelings fade. Before we claim love, we might ask whether we are offering connection or simply reaching for comfort we fear losing. And maybe the real issue is that we confuse emotion with love. First, we chase the feeling because it is intoxicating. Second, movies and culture shape expectations, teaching us what love should look like before we ever experience it. And third, without practicing vulnerability, love becomes a desire to be seen, rather than a willingness to truly see another. When a slower reply feels like rejection, longing replaces understanding. In the end, love without understanding is only attachment with a softer name. So now, what if you asked yourself, when did you last love someone without asking for anything in return? How has love changed the way you treat someone?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
Do you really choose or only repeat? Jean-Paul Sartre once wrote, "Freedom is what we do with what is done to us." We like to believe every choice is ours, shaped by intention and clarity. Yet many choices are echoes of fear, habit, or what once worked. Noticing how we choose may be more honest than choosing itself. Before asking whether we are free, we might ask whether we ever stopped long enough to decide. And maybe the real issue is that we mistake options for freedom. First, we assume more choices, mean control, forgetting how often we follow the familiar without thought. Second, modern life rewards performance, where we post convictions before asking why they matter. And third, unseen systems steer us long before we notice. A dashboard can tell us, we failed on a day, we helped someone breathe easier. In the end, decisions without awareness are not chosen. They simply happen to us. So now, what if you asked yourself, do you truly choose or do you simply follow momentum? If you paused before choosing, would the choice really stay the same?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
Why goodness needs a voice. Abraham Lincoln once said, "To be silent when they should protest makes cowards of men." There was a time when being good felt sufficient. A person who stayed patient, kept their place, and harmed no one was considered honorable. But today, goodness without voice becomes invisibility. Character still matters, but the world no longer rewards quiet virtue. Maybe goodness on its own is not the whole story anymore. And maybe the mistake is believing goodness is a strategy. First, we assume being kind will earn safety. Yet the world protects only those who declare themselves. Second, we expect effort to be noticed. Yet, silence makes effort disappear. And third, without boundaries, goodness turns into self-erasure. Being good is not the shield many imagined. It is only the floor from which a life must be built. If you never define what you want, someone else will define you as the fool in the room. So now, what if you asked yourself, does goodness alone give you a life you would choose again? If not, what must be added clarity, courage, or voice?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
Are we lost without religion? Fyodor Dostoevsky once wrote, "Without God, every boundary feels negotiable. and almost anything becomes permitted. For centuries, religion offered more than rituals. It gave a story big enough to hold our fears, and a map wide enough to explain our days. But today, many steps away not with anger, but with absence. The world accelerates, belief feels optional, and answers once inherited now feel like questions we must carry ourselves. Maybe it is not that religion is fading, but that something else has not yet formed. First, religion once gave meaning. Suffering was not just pain, but part of a path. Second, religion gave belonging. You were not searching alone, because even your doubts lived inside a circle that held you when you might have disappeared. And third, religion offered a compass. It prevented the judgment of right and wrong from being swayed by personal mood, and it kept truth from yielding to desire. So now, what if you asked yourself, what do you believe religion is meant to show us? When religion falls silent, will you ask or simply wait?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
Does democracy favor stability over truth? Walter Lippmann once wrote, "The manufacture of consent is capable of great refinements." We often imagine democracy as a system meant to serve the public, a way to align power with the common good. But democratic decisions rarely emerge from the public alone. They are shaped through negotiation, pressure, and organized interests. Stability depends on balancing competing demands. Over time, order can feel more urgent than truth. What begins as representation slowly becomes managed agreement. And maybe the real issue is not intention, but alignment. First, democratic systems rely on organized interest to function and negotiate outcomes. Second, compromises meant to preserve balance often soften uncomfortable truths. And third, power learns to move quietly within these arrangements. Decisions appear neutral, yet benefits concentrate. Rules are followed, processes respected, and conflicts reduced. But as consensus holds, private gains can grow unnoticed. In the end, power remains stable, while its direction quietly shifts away from the public. So now, what if you asked yourself, is political power meant to serve the public or organized interests? At what point did we accept power being used for private gain?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
Why do we feel lonelier in crowds? Hannah Arendt once wrote, "Loneliness is not being alone. It is the inability to be with others. Being alone is simple. It is only a physical state. But loneliness is different. It can appear even when people surround us. We stand among voices, faces, and noise, yet still feel unseen. So perhaps loneliness is not about how many people are near us, but about whether anyone truly meets us. And maybe the real issue is not the crowd itself, but how we move through it. First, we confuse presence with connection. Second, we try to be visible to many people, hoping attention will replace intimacy. And third, we avoid vulnerability and keep most of ourselves hidden. We protect our real thoughts behind careful words and practiced expressions. Even in the middle of a crowd, we remain strangers to one another. In the end, company without connection begins to feel like another form of isolation. So now, what if you asked yourself, when was the last time you felt truly understood by someone? Do others see your real thoughts, or only the mask you wear?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper. If you took a moment to reflect, that's already enough. See you in the next one.